Hi, my name is Marco and welcome to the Model Gene. Today, I'm going to be discussing some of the best and worst covers from April 2023. Let's kick things off with Cara Delevingne by Annie Leibovitz for American Vogue. It is not the worst work from Annie. For that, you can check out this video that I did, which is possibly the worst work she has ever done in her career, but there are a few things that bother me about this. The hair is styled to look as if it is blowing to one side from the wind, but the fringed bits on the cuff of her jeans are not moving as well. Also, the way her hair has been retouched to remove all flyaways, which we expect to see if her hair is blowing in the wind, it makes the image read as fake. The untied shoelaces are an attempt to make the shiny leather brogues look more casual, but it shows how a lack of cohesion with the styling and the creative direction will hurt the final image. Inauthentic is how I would describe this cover. For Marie Claire China, Zhang is recreating Botticelli's The Birth of Venus against a painted backdrop that is similar to the original painting, but one element that I wish we saw here was movement. So much of the magic of Botticelli's painting is the grand gesture of movement, where you really feel Venus emerging from the water. In this recreation, the model looks beautiful, but I think the cover would have been much stronger if she was creating a different silhouette with her body. This month, Vogue Italia gives us another pathetic Kardashian cover. At the end of the day, no one involved really cares about how the final image turned out or how vacant her face is. They just care that their name might get mentioned in an Instagram post that might get them more followers. It is sad to see that Franca Sozzani spent years cultivating a reputation that Vogue Italia was the most photography-forward of the Vogue magazines, but in her death, that reputation has died as well. Last month, Giselle was on the cover of Vogue Italia playing a completely different character, but this month on the cover of Vanity Fair, we have Giselle at her most Giselle. First thing I want to point out, look at her hair in comparison to Cara on the cover of American Vogue. They had the same idea, but with Vanity Fair, we have what it is supposed to look like. I love the warm tones Lachlan Bailey is using, how it immediately pulls you into feeling summer sun on your skin. Her facial expression is inviting, and the way that she is holding her hand shows why Instagram models, like the one on the cover of Vogue Italia this month, will never hold a candle to a real model. After two boring covers at British Vogue, Edward Enninful is shaking things up with 3 plus-size models on the cover, calling them the new supers. With Jill Courtleaf in particular, it is great to see her success over the past few years, because whenever a new plus-size model gets approved by the high fashion industry, they are typically much larger, whereas Jill has that in-between size that is rarely shown in high fashion. Normally, only the extremes are allowed to exist, extremely thin or very large. The cover image itself, I'm not a big fan of. I think it is all just too somber for a spring cover that should feel more joyous, considering how rare it is to see a plus-size model on a Vogue cover. Nonetheless, 3, at least it is not a boring celebrity cover. Vogue Japan, once again, child of an American D-list actress. I have to wonder, is there a PR agency in Hollywood that is paying to get these lip-filtered Instagram models on the cover for Vogue Japan? Now to my favorite cover from April 2023, we have Vogue Philippines and their beauty issue, with 106-year-old Appa Wang-od photographed by Artu Nepomuceno. Photography has the ability to tell stories, and this photo is doing exactly that. Appa Wang-od is the oldest woman on the cover of any Vogue magazine, and I absolutely love this portrait. Her tattoos were done with a centuries-old method of indigenous tattooing called batok, and after years of her people being oppressed by colonialism and being forced to cover her tattoos, it is beautiful to see her in her full glory. The saturation of the colors, the depth we are getting is really exquisite. NUMÉRO France this month is highlighting the talent of hairstylist Gabe Sin and makeup artist Oh Sung-sok in this explosion of color. With the introduction of AI art sweeping the internet, this cover is a statement to supporting visionaries that these AI generators are taking from. There is fire in the eyes of the model, and overall it is a really interesting cover to look at. GQ has the gorgeous Korean superstar Hoyeon on their cover this month. Many know her from her breakout role in Squid Games, but before that, she debuted as a Louis Vuitton exclusive model. The makeup is gorgeous here. It really sells the sci-fi fantasy that photographer Elizaveta Porodina does so well. She really leans hard into a strong creative direction and isn't afraid of pushing boundaries. Vogue Netherlands has a really fun cover this month with this black and white image of Dylan by Arran and Jules. The background establishes a pattern, and the way the model is breaking that pattern inserts that bit of intrigue that makes an image stronger than if her shirt aligned. Fashion magazines in general try to stay away from black and white covers, but I think it is a smart use of it. Speaking of black and white, Harper's Bazaar France has this beautiful cover of Rian Van Rompuy by Alasdair McLellan. I've also talked about McLellan's style in my video about color grading, but even in black and white, you can still see his identity in the photograph. Rian has established herself as one of the best models from this younger generation, and even with her eyes closed, she is emoting. The angles of her arm work really well in leading the eye around the image. Overall, a strong cover from Harper's Bazaar France. Vogue Greece has Heidi Klum on their April cover, a nod to Irving Penn's corner portraits from the 1940s. This type of background is a great way to direct the energy of the photograph to one area. The stylist should have opted for a different look for the cover shot, because in this position, the garment isn't translating very well. It just looks like some fabric slapped on her body. For the men's fashion magazines this month, my favorite cover goes to Vogue Man Hong Kong with actor Manu Rios. To be honest, there isn't much excellence to choose from, so as basic as this image is, I will say that the styling choice was great for the cover, because the shirt contrast really pops. Next, we have Le Magazine du Monde Spécial Mode. To start with the positives, the lighting on the model's face is nice, as well as the pose, but I do have an issue with the styling. When I first saw the image, the neck and the nautical pants made me think that this was going to be some kind of commentary on immigration, refugees undertaking a treacherous journey to cross the sea to Europe, so I was confused by the title of The New Dandies. From looking at the editorial in the magazine, it turns out my interpretation was completely wrong, and it was just about flamboyant dressing. The styling is a missed opportunity at best, but the cover is fine beyond that. NUMÉRO Netherlands is once again showing how low the bar is for celebrity by putting Lucas Gage on the cover. No hate to this man, but considering how he has only had very small roles in shows like White Lotus, Euphoria, and You on Netflix, putting him on the cover seems a bit silly with how far down he is on the call sheet. The image itself is entirely unremarkable and looks like an amateur photographer's first time shooting in studio. There's nothing interesting about the light, the styling, or the composition. Lastly, we have Dapper Dan magazine shot by Alvaro Beamod Cortés. The pose is great, the lighting is really beautiful and pure, but my one gripe is the styling. Putting a male model in a black turtleneck is literally test shooting 101, so I wish the clothing brought more to the image. When shooting in black and white, the absence of color is an opportunity to introduce texture in an interesting way, and here everything is just slick and smooth. Be sure to subscribe to find out who comes out on top next month in the battle of the covers.